Hello and welcome to our product overview for the case management solution. This is an introductory demo to give you a taste of what we have built to support your iMIS experience. This is an extremely robust and configurable solution built with the intention of adapting to many organizational processes and case management needs. If you'd like to have a more in-depth review of our case management solution, please reach out and we'd be happy to walk you through the configurable elements that can better support your organization's needs. All right, to get things started here, let's take a look at an individual submitting a new grievance. Clicking down on our support tab, we've got our login here for our case management form. Now there are two versions of our case management form, one that can be accessible to the public or one that requires members to log in as an authenticated user. Today, we're going to be demonstrating the latter as Alex Morgan here. All right, now that I've logged in, we can see our case management form. And this is a simple form using the iMIS forms function. Let's log a date, location, and let's say that this is a legal harassment claim with details about work and none. I can upload my own documents to the case here, just as I'm submitting it for further review from staff, and click submit. Just like that, this very simple form is now sent off to a staff member who's been notified that a new form has been logged. That can be as simple or complex as you would like the initial process to be, after which I am redirected now to my cases where I can review previous cases to see any updates on that case's status, or even access documents that we've uploaded via our Document Valet solution, which we will look at a later video. Now that this is all complete, let's dive over to a staff member now who's going to be in charge of triaging newly submitted forms. I'm logged in here as Christine Baker, who is our case management staff member. And you can see on the left-hand side, this individual has a limited navigation where they can just access members or review the case management dashboard. Jumping over to the case management dashboard now, I have a high-level review of all the cases currently within the system. On the left-hand side here, I can see cases broken out by type, and these can be as few or as many cases as you need to support your organization's processes. We have our cases by month, giving me a timeline of new cases that have been submitted over the history of the past year. And on the right-hand side too, I can see any tasks that are required for different cases to move along that are currently overdue. Down low, because I am triaging, I can also see cases that have been assigned to me. These are cases that I am currently responsible for, and I can see the status of them right now. Otherwise, I can flip over to our tasks, and I can see tasks broken out for each case that's currently in flight. These could be cases that are assigned to me, or these could be cases assigned to other staff members, which I'm being looped in to support. We also have access to see all cases that are currently within the system, or break it out by open or closed cases. I know we have our new Alex Morgan case here. It's lodged as a complaint, but we also have another complaint type within the system as a call. This is our triage case type. Let's take a look at Bob Moses' submission and move this into its next stage. Across the top here, we have our staging, and this is where we can assign different steps to manage the life cycle of our case. Because this is a triage, I have the options for open or close. And this can be dynamic based on the different types of cases that we're managing. And again, we can configure this to be as few or as many different stages as you like. Some stages include hearing, some can be arbitration, you name it. In the center here, I have the involved member, which is Bob Moses. If I wanted to, I can click on the pencil icon and see what participant type this individual is. We can assign involved members to individuals, or these can also be assigned to organizations within the system. I can look up those within our dropdown here, and this pulls from our database, and then I can assign the participant type from this dropdown. We also have this option for participants where I can select new members to be involved. This is a much larger list where we can loop in lawyers, witnesses, council members, complainants, you name it. If the member doesn't, or the individual rather, doesn't exist currently within the system, we can add a new participant here by clicking new, identifying the participant name, and it will be created as a non-member within the system. This allows us for better tracking against an individual for this particular case. In today's system, let's log against Shirley here and say that Shirley was a witness. All right. Now we have our activities on the right-hand side here, and activities help us track milestone events within the system. So say, based on our task down here below, I can log a interaction and the details of that interaction, call with Shirley. Identify that as a phone call, and we'll say it was a good talk on today. Now, if this is related to an individual, I can highlight that here and save. Down low, I'm assigned as the case administrator, but if at any point I wanted to reassign this as part of my triaging step to Riley, I can do so here. This can be reassigned to another staff member, or if we wanted to, we can also assign this to a committee for a complaints committee review, for example. I'll save that here. And let's move over to our last step here where we can identify the case type. Because I've notified that this is a call, we don't have many details down here. I can access the form to see what the details were of the form that were submitted. I can also see these as the opening tasks for this case. But if we flip it over to another, let's say this is a complaint. As soon as I set this form to a complaint type, our form below is going to change to the complaint form case management steps. We also have a new field here that opens up too, allowing us to see how long this form has been open for. I can update the classification and subclassification here, or adjust the case management if we had a decision that was came out of the review of this case, along with the closing date. We can also see across the bottom, new tasks have been populated now with different tabs based on what we've configured for this particular case type. I still have my opening tasks, and because I've already completed assigning this case to a new owner, I'm going to update this task to make sure that it's complete. Let's say we completed this one today. We'll mark this as closed and completed this today as well. Assigned to myself as the individual who completed this, and assigned to Riley. Let's update this. And what this will do now is it'll take away that little flag that we have for our task being due, and it'll flip it to a little checkbox. Now, based on our task here, we can also configure this to be a requirement before moving to our next stage, or these could be checkpoints for the staff to do, but it won't impede them from moving on to the life cycle of this case. We have our investigation step now because we are still within our open stage, and based on our complaint case type, these are our next steps to walk through. If I check our process as part of the lifecycle management for this case, I can see that there is no status here because it is still in the open stage. After moving the stage into the in progress step, we'll be able to see those new steps populate. Next up, we have our documents where we can upload documents directly to iMIS via the upload document button here. These could be any documents, including screenshots that we can label. We can also call this evidence. And attach those right here. Alternatively, if you are using the Document Valet solution, we can also upload new documents via our Document Valet. I can choose those files here, or we can even drag and drop. And once these are uploaded, these will be uploaded directly to your SharePoint directory. So a designated folder within your team SharePoint service that can house all these files, and it's stored there so it doesn't bog down your system's file storage limit and maintains performance. Once those documents are uploaded, we can also update the tags for these. So let's say passport. And this could then live as a tag for future documents that you upload to your system. You could either have these as a add field, or you can use them as a lookup field. In addition to that, we have the option to lock these files down so they can't be deleted at a later date, and that's based on your document valet permissions. Next up, we have our Notes tab, and this could be for personal notes, internal notes for your staff members, or if you wanted to list notes that could later be used in an email template, those can all be done here via the Add Note button. Last but not least, because this is a complaint, we have the option to issue fines or penalties to this individual based on our policies if they need to be fined or they would incur a fee. We can do that all within the case details page here. This pulls up the product. I can list the details issued based on policy 1413.1 and add a modest fee of $150. If I proceed to checkout, I can use the pay later function and then track whether or not that is paid all within the case details page down here below. All right, let's give this a quick refresh. And there we can see the open balance and track that this is paid. Once that's issued, if I wanted to, I can also follow up with this individual to let them know that they have a outstanding payment due. Let's go to our complaint category and select a template. What this does is it uses the communications module to pre-populate any of the details from your case as you're managing it to save time on following up with individuals, especially when there are fines or updates to be made or you need information from those individuals to move the case along. Any of those emails that are sent will all be tracked underneath your email tab. And it's also worth mentioning that these categories are driven by your folder hierarchy within your communications module. So if at any point you add new folders to your case management email templates, those would update in real time here with the available templates that you've made within those folders. All right, last but not least, let's take a look at our reports. So straight out of the box here with our case management solution, we've made available several reports either through Report Writer or simple IQAs that can be modified to pull in different data based on your needs. Our Report Writer reports right out of the box show you cases by month, and we also have that broken out by category, subcategory, or chapter. These are all exportable, and you can modify them to just display the report tables, or you can have it just display the graph. Next up is our executive reports, and this is where we use the details from those cases that we're managing to pull in the category, and we can even break it down by case subcategory to give us a nice overview of what cases we are currently dealing with, which ones are open, and which ones are closed. This can then also be exported to a PDF or Excel for further management with your staff. Last but not least, on the reports front, we have our staff assignments. And for our staff assignments, we can see how many staff are assigned what cases, who has the lion's share of the work, cases by status, whether they are open, pending review, or closed, and cases by month once again. That is a high-level overview of our reports right now. And next, we're going to move into an admin user just to take a look under the hood at what our admin tools are. And I can see on the left-hand side a lot more options to navigate to. Over here, we have some admin tabs. And the first one we're going to take a look at is cases. This is where we can manage either deleting or restoring deleted cases to keep our case management list clean. Say there are some duplicates being submitted. This is where you can manage those submissions. Our task tab is where we can build out our case types. And this is how we manage our lookups we can update the description of those case types and then build out the stages and tasks that are affiliated with each stage. So if we recall on the call case type, there was only 2 stages. However, for the complaint, we have 3 new stages and so on. We have the ability to cater this to our needs per case type. It's not a one size fits all. Further to that point, we also have our tasks, so we can see the different tasks that are generated based on different case types and stages that those are built. We can also set the expected timelines for those to be closed and if they are available to be bypassed or not. And last but not least, if you have integrations that are required for your case management tool, we can create new admin tabs to better support the configuration steps affiliated with tying those connections in. All right, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this quick overview of our case management product solution. As I mentioned, this only scratches the surface of what is possible. If your organization needs a robust and configurable solution to support your case management needs, please reach out to our team for a tailored demo. Thank you again for watching.